One thing that I know to be true, having grown up in an intuitive family and working with clients for over a decade, is that empathic, intuitive people often suffer from higher degrees of anxiety. And often that anxiety rears its ugly head as we're finally trying to unwind and go to sleep. Now, this battle with ourselves, with the clock, can not only leave us feeling more exhausted, stressed, but also bring on anxiety even before we get into our bedtime routines. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the tools that I use to help manage my own sleep anxiety so that I can get out of the endless chatter, the worry, the rotisserie chicken and spit, and come back to my body, to the present moment, and really sleep and relax. Sleep anxiety is the worst. You are not alone if you're an empathic, intuitive person and find yourself night after night being caught up in anxiety, overthinking, worry, all of it, as opposed to falling sound asleep. I know for me, the worst is when I am next to a very good sleeper suffering from sleep anxiety. They just close their eyes and they're out. Like, how do you do that? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the tools that I have used and learned and cultivated over the years that have helped me manage my sleep anxiety so I can connect back to my spirit, myself, and actually finally get some restful sleep. So before I go any further, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a 4th generation intuitive, and I teach you how to plug back into your innate divine self, your intuition. If you're new here, hit subscribe. If you're returning, you know the drill. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And a quick thing, some housekeeping, definitely check out my links below. Get my free spiritual toolkit with a guided meditation to access your intuition, spirit type quiz. Check out my podcast. I have so many different tools and offerings that I could use to support you, which is my favorite. And one of these meditations is actually great for sleep anxiety. So first, why do we suffer from sleep anxiety? Now, when we suffer from sleep anxiety, often what shows up is worry. And worry isn't a bad thing. It isn't inherently bad. It is our body, it is ourselves telling us that something needs our attention. When we worry about something, there's parts of us, our human parts, that are cueing to say, hey, something is wrong, something's up. What can we do to fix it? Now, the worst time to think about this, what I know to be true, is when you are exhausted after a long day, because I know that our brains get tired. And when our brains get tired, it makes it a lot more difficult to find solution and to be gentle with ourselves, to not ruminate on the events of the days or our actions or dwell on the future. So the very first thing that I want you to recognize is when your little ego intellect, that worry, is a flag from your human parts that they are asking for your attention about something important. Now, our days often are so productive and flooded with so much information constantly. I mean, we often don't go anywhere without a phone. Put on podcasts while we're in the car. We bring our phone to go to the bathroom. We are tethered to information overload all of the time. And when we don't have any room, any space, and even any quiet, we first often aren't even aware of what we're worrying about. What are the things that we are needing to pay attention to? Even what is our own energy versus other people's. Our society loves us to feel like if we're productive, that's going to be a good thing. And yes, productivity is good to a point, but productivity, I have found, especially nowadays, has disconnected us from our bodies, from our feedback system. Your body speaks to you. Your intuition speaks to you through the portal of your body. You know, often when we have a stomach ache, that means that we might have some unsettled emotion. You know, our shoulders are tight. That means that there might be something that we feel where we need support. And just like that worry, often we want to battle against. We're like, oh, I shouldn't worry, or I shouldn't think like that, which ends up getting us in these same feedback loops. You know, when we think about the ego intellect, especially when we're tired, we have to remember that it's a liar. And when we try and engage in conversation with these critical, crispy parts of ourselves, you're not going to find solution, solace, or comfort there. I promise you. So let's go back to worry. One thing that we can do throughout our day, before the end of the day, before the end of your day, before your bedtime routine, before anything, is to take 5 minutes, get out a journal, and actually handwrite this down. There's something very powerful about our hands being connected to our heart space, and also physically writing things down. First, helps us to move the energy out of our bodies. And second, allows us to slow down and process our emotions, our thoughts, things that we might not even be aware of. So give yourself time for a worry dump. What are the things that I'm worried about? What are the things that are asking for my attention and energy? This can help us get organized, because often when we kind of dump it from here and onto paper, things can become a lot more manageable. Now, some things on your worry list might be things that are outside of your control. Like, for example, if you are just got out of a relationship and are looking for a new partner, and you're worried if you'll ever be able to find the one. Now, we can't control what the timing is of that, but that North Star can give us a new orientation of, like, I might not be able to control that, but what I can control and what I can make grounded choices on is by making myself available to new experiences, being open to meet new people, and then making promises to ourselves and to our ego, intellect, to our human part that we are following through. When we see worry, we can also use the ego intellect, which is very good at organizing in its strengths, to find some grounded step-by-step solutions. So one, like I said, make time for your worry dump and make it every day. The more that we have this habit of creating the space for what might be uncomfortable, we often confuse discomfort for danger. It's not. The more that we can befriend these feelings, befriend what we want to push away, and lean into the portal of curiosity, we can find solution, anchor back into our spirit, and also help to quiet our barking dog without trying to fight him, silence him, or reason, which I know for me, when my brain is really tired, does not work. Second thing that we really want to do, which is even before, these are all things that we do in our daytime before we go to bed, is move your body. Exercise and movement is vital. You have to recognize that our spirit moves. We need to be movable. And when we don't move our energy, we become energetic landfills. Just the other day, I was feeling very overwhelmed, saturated, and my spirit was not having any of it. And I literally crawled into bed, read my book all day, watched a bunch of TV shows, and went to bed super early. The next day, I still felt not my best. And my mind didn't want to do anything. My neighbor across the hall invited me to a concert of a beautiful artist named Jenny Lewis, who I love. And everything in me was like, no, I don't want to do that. But I made the decision to go. And what I noticed was immediately in moving my energy, going outside, going for a walk, having a place to discharge, allowed that brain dump, allowed that chatter to quiet. The more that we move and make it a priority, exercise, yoga, dancing, anything, whatever it is, it helps to get us out of that rotisserie chicken on a spit, helps us return back to the present moment, and also just helps us move that energy out of our bodies. When we become stagnant, that's when we get cut off from home number one. We get cut off here, and we get really trapped in here in the bad neighborhood. That's where I was. So know that when you move your body, your mind will follow. So having that as just some grounded places earlier in the day can help cue us up for success. 3, most importantly, a sleep routine. When I was really struggling with a lot of sleep anxiety, where I would have nightmares, where I would just be overwhelmed, the idea of going to sleep felt scary and induced anxiety before I even got into bed. And when I really started to recognize that and see, okay, this is a problem, because I'd be like, I don't want to go to bed. I'm going to bed. I'm trying to sleep. It's not working. Was, all right, I need to create a solid, grounded routine. When we use rituals, it helps to cue first our body signals, our hormones, that we are preparing our bodies for sleep. Routines also help our ego intellect know what we have to look forward to. So much of our world, we don't know what's going to come the next day. And that could be really overwhelming. So when we create rituals, that helps us to have a grounded framework that we can anchor into. So a really simple bedtime routine that I use often is, first I turn off my phone, my computer. I mean, I'm not perfect, let's be real, but often of really limiting my blue light energy. Then I like to read something that is interesting, maybe a book, a novel that helps my body unwind. And then even from there, another thing that I really love to do is take a very hot shower. Water helps to cleanse my auric field. I feel like I get to cleanse the energy off from my day. And also shifting from like a hot temperature to a cold temperature actually cues your body in for sleep. And then having to think about, what is your room comfortable? Are you comfortable in your bed? Is it cold enough? Do you have nice enough sheets? Do you have nice enough pillows? Do you feel at home in your room? Is your room a safe place? I find that it is vital. For me, my room is an extraordinarily safe place. This is where I go to rest, recuperate, recover. So for me, I have lovely sheets that I absolutely love, a beautiful fan, blackout curtains, eye shades, white noise. I've got the works. But these things help me feel safe, feel nurtured, and feel good in my bedroom. I love to climb into my bed now. I love it. It feels so good, especially when I am clean energy, clear body, and get to read my book. Last, I'd say when we're really struggling with sleep anxiety is to use meditation. If you're really, really, really struggling, I'll often use a yoga nidra guided meditation for sleep that can help give my mind something to follow and attach to if it's really in overload. I think of it as like gentle bumpers. There's also a really great podcast called Sleepwalk with Me. And what it does is it tells like nonsense stories that gently lull you to sleep. So these are some of my big arsenals of I'm like, okay, I am really unavailable. I really can't sleep. And if you really, really, really can't sleep, what I know to be true is don't fight it. Sometimes this is just a moment of where we have to get out of bed, have that place of having that brain dump, maybe just acknowledging and writing all the things that are on your mind. When we can externalize those things, validate, instead of trying to shove them down or figure them out, it helps move the energy, come back to present, and feel good. And also, I will never say that magnesium calm has been fantastic. So if you're also struggling with sleep, I would also recommend that you go to your natural health food store and get some magnesium. Calm has been a really wonderful supplement for me to help me relax, to unwind, and make peace with going to sleep. Often I'll just even close my eyes and think that is restful and that I'm resting and focusing on the good things that happen throughout my day. And if my little rotisserie chicken brain goes running off, I gently bring it back to the moment. So I hope that these tools helped you. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a comment, definitely subscribe. If you want to work with me, I do intuitive soul readings, mentoring, and I'm going to be launching a group class, Psychic University, in the fall. So if any of those things, join my newsletter. Tons of tools, tips, and ways to help you. I am sending you all my love, and I hope you have a restful sleep.